And we're rolling. Let's go. Welcome back to the Extra Point College Football Podcast. I'm Max Santa.
I'm Dean Williamson.
I'm Alex Martin.
I'm Josh Cornatzer.
And we are missing a few people today, but it is the biggest week of the entire season. Rivalry weekend. We finally made it here. I don't want to say finally. I think it's gone by very fast. Alex, do you want to tell us about last weekend at all, or should we just move on ahead?
Now, hold on a
Let's
second.
move
We're
on.
not
Let's just
moving,
move
we're
on.
Not, we're not moving on that fast, man.
It's an
We're not
irrelevant
moving on
game.
that
No one
fast.
cares.
I would like to say that Alex
No
in the
one cares.
podcast last week started talking about how if North Carolina wins, I'm going to be obnoxious on this podcast about how
I
North
did
Carolina
not
winning.
say
Well,
that.
guess what?
I did
They didn't
not
win.
say
And
that.
Clemson won, so I'm going to be obnoxious on this
I
podcast.
never said I'm gonna be
Nate
obnoxious.
Wiggins
Put words in my
owns
mouth.
Drake
All I
May, and that's
said-
all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
I never said that. That is a lie. That is a
Yeah,
flat out lie.
Nate Wiggins has legal ownership of the North Carolina Tar Heels.
The Tar
Everything
Alright, let's
he
move on.
does is
We
a
do not
successful
care. We
play.
do
Oh,
not
there he
care.
is. There he is.
Yes.
I hope y'all get
Oh
smoked.
my gosh.
No, Shane
That's
Beamer
awful.
absolute coaches a masterclass against
That's
y'all. You've
awful.
earned
Bro, kicking the shame cocks.
All right. Well, I think we've got a lot to get to, and as much fun as it is to poke and prod you guys and let you go, I think it's time to get into the games because we do have a lot of them, especially if we're going to
Need
do
to change
one
that
of the
picture.
worst matchups on
Change that
here
picture first.
for some reason.
Change that
Oh my gosh.
picture.
Yeah.
He's still going. Absurd.
No,
All
I'm
right.
preparing.
On Friday night at 8:30 on Fox, we have number 16 Oregon State at number 6 Oregon, currently a 13.5-point favorite. I think 13.5 is too many points. Actually, I think the line just changed to 14. I think that's too many points for this game. Obviously, a big rivalry between the two. This game is in Oregon, but I think Oregon State's a good enough team to keep it closer than that. I don't think they're going to win by any stretch of the means, but we saw what happened last week against Washington. Washington started to run away, and then Oregon started chipping back, and they only lost by 2, and I think that Washington team is really good and potentially a playoff team. So I think that Oregon State's gonna make it a little bit closer, and I do think Oregon wins the football game, but I think they cover the spread here.
Yeah, I agree. I think like 13.5 points is way too many. I mean, I still think it's going to be like a 10-point game. I think Oregon's still going to beat them by 10. I mean, Oregon State beat Oregon last year at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Oregon State's only gotten better since last season. I thought, honestly, at the beginning of the season, I thought they were going to take a downward spiral because of DJ, but here we are, and we learned that DJ wasn't the problem at Clemson. So I think Oregon State is actually going to put up a fight against Oregon, but I don't think they're going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oregon State's a pesky team, man. I mean, they've been annoying teams all year. I mean, they gave Washington a fit last game. But again, I think Oregon's a very good team. I think that's my Pac-12 winners right now. But I think they win this game by 10. 14 is just I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's too many points.
That's
Give
too many
me
points.
Ducks. I think Bo Nix is gonna have another really good campaign. I think he's gonna have a good game. I think he's gonna try and make that final Heisman push. I don't think he's got it under lock, but I think he's gonna try and put up a good game. That offense has been hard to stop this season, so I'm gonna go with the Ducks.
All right.
Oh
Now,
boy.
oh
Here it
boy,
is.
I don't even want to do
Here
this
it
one next,
is.
but I have to because like
Let's
it's
do
in
it. Let's do it. Let's do
I
it.
think
At
we
12
could save
o'clock.
it for last. We could save
Yeah,
it for last,
save it for
honestly.
last.
Okay, that's
I feel
fine.
like this
That's fine.
is the best
Alright.
game to save for last.
It
All right.
is.
It is
We'll-
the
we'll
best
move
game
on.
by far.
Game
And
day is
skip over the
Thursday,
next
right?
one.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, just checking.
At 3:30 on Saturday on ACC Network,
Yes. Yes.
Josh
Why are we
finally got
talking
his
about this
wish.
game?
This is his
Why are we
Christmas
talking about
present.
this game?
Thank you.
Virginia Tech
you.
is currently a 3-point favorite at Virginia. I don't have much of a read on this game other than the fact that I know Josh likes Virginia Tech, and I think they're a
Yes.
better football team than Virginia is. I think this is going to be a close game. I think Brent Pry will probably have his guys ready to go, though, so I'm going to go with the Hokies here.
Yeah, the Hokies. That's all I got.
Virginia Tech. I don't care about this game.
I refuse to comment further.
We own that school in Charlottesville. Now it is nice to see that this game is back. The Commonwealth Cup was put on postpone last season due to the tragedy.
Commonwealth Cup.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
So this is a 2-year. This hasn't happened in 2 years, so it'll be good for this rivalry to be renewed. I think the Hokies just have that much better of an offense and defense. I think, and the Hokies travel well to Charlottesville. So give me the Hokies. I think it's going to be about a 2-3 score game. Even though there won't be any Enter Sandman rocking Go Hokies, that stadium will be loud for Virginia Tech.
All right, let's move on.
Uh-oh.
Let's move on.
Uh-oh. Hey, Tanner, I'm on the podcast.
Oh, we're on the podcast.
Yeah, are you ready?
Vesp.
Hold on. How are we doing this?
How about I call you whenever the game comes up and you want to talk about that?
Oh gosh.
All I gotta do is just get home and unload this drywall, and I'll just call you right back. I just need to call you.
Yeah, just call me.
Just call you and
Yep.
go through it, or are we doing like a Skype, or what are we doing?
No, we're on Skype right now when we're doing it, but you can just call me back and you can jump
I'm
in.
doing the Skype call.
Okay.
I just need to,
You should be you should be on it.
I just need to unload this real quick. I'll send you a text if I can. It shouldn't be 15 minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Tyler is not going in the podcast today.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'll be on there probably 8:30.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, we will have Tanner Vespi, as you just heard, joining us here shortly. So, yeah, Virginia Tech. Did we all go? We're good?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Virginia
good.
Tech. Josh, you have any kind of read on this game as far as stats, matchup? I mean,
Hokies have been flying high these past few games. Once they've hit the ACC, they've hit a good stretch. They have had some losses, especially coming off that loss against NC State as their season home closer. But I think they bounced back against a very weak UVA team and this is also a team that's going to be very fired up to try and make it back to a bowl game.
yeah.
Hey, I would like to say Virginia did beat Duke last week.
They
I
also
don't think
beat
this
Duke
game is going to
Carolina.
be. They did. I don't think this game is going to be as easy as you think it is.
Tony Elliott, he's probably the worst assistant to come out of Clemson.
Look, I think Virginia Tech wins this game, but I don't think this game is going to be easy. Virginia's
No.
a pesky school this year.
We own that sorry school in Charlottesville.
I said y'all win. I said y'all win. I just don't think it's going to be an easy game.
Own them. There's more than just it being a close win.
Oh my
We've
god.
also won.
Okay,
This guy
let's
is-
Let's move on to
Let's
some real teams.
Let's move on. Hey,
All right.
Let me just put this
Next.
on there. Josh said earlier in the year that Virginia Tech wins this game with a 100%. Not a
Yes.
doubt in my mind.
I had
Flip
them
that.
between 6
Flip
and
that.
6,
Flip
and
that.
I had them 5 and
Flip
6 in this part of the season.
Okay, let's move on now. The Iron Bowl.
All right,
Iron.
at 3:30 on CBS, we got number 8 Alabama, currently a 14.5-point favorite at Auburn. I think this game is going to be an absolute blowout. You got Alabama trending upwards. You got Auburn trending downwards. Auburn lost last week to New Mexico State, 31-10. Alabama just rolled through Chattanooga, but I mean it's Chattanooga. But even so, they're playing a lot better football. Their offense looks really good. Their defense is still really good. I think this team is a team to look out for, especially going into next week with that game in Atlanta. I think that's going to be huge. And I think Alabama rolls here. I think they cover the 14.5-point spread. I think Alabama wins probably 3 touchdowns. Auburn is not good. They're going to need some time with Hugh Freeze. Although Hugh Freeze has beaten Nick Saban 2 times, I will give him that. I think Alabama is just too good here, and they're going in the right direction right now.
I agree. I think Auburn is terrible, and I thought they were going to be terrible from the beginning of the season. Unlike one of the people that is on this podcast that thought Auburn was going to have something like, what was it, 10 wins?
10-2. 10-2. He had them going 10-2.
There
He
should
had
be
them beat
some kind of
Alabama.
repercussion for that.
Yes,
That's
he
gotta
will
be.
never.
That's
The
gotta be.
repercussion is he will never hear the end of it. All I know is that Jalen Milroe is starting to play really good, and I believe Alabama wins by 4 touchdowns, not just 3 touchdowns. I think they win by 28 points.
Holy smokes!
If New Mexico State can go in there and win 31-10 and get paid $1 million,
Crap game.
you just gotta understand what Alabama is about to do to them coming into the SEC championship the next week.
That's not their trap game. They got blown out. That is not their trap game. They
A trap
lost to
game
they
is
got
like
blown out.
another SEC school. That's terrible.
Nah, this game ain't close. Alabama's looking to get. They gonna try to sneak in their way into the playoff. I think they want to try to win the SEC championship. This game ain't close.
Yeah, we
Auburn might as well does not even show up. I mean,
we
this game
got
gonna be.
all the same picks on this one. So
As much
This
as
game's
as much as I'd like it to be an Auburn win, and as much as I'd like to reassure my pick from this summer, there's no way Auburn's winning this game. They're just that bad. I will take the L on that season's pick.
You should take multiple L's on that one.
Oh, it was a bad. I thought they would be better than 6 and 6, but
well,
You
guess
freak-
what? You were wrong. You were
I had Clemson
badly
going 11-1.
wrong.
So
fair enough. Hey, I'd much rather Clemson 11-1.
but here we are.
Underachieving
7-4.
expectations.
I had North Carolina exactly where I had them. I had them at 3 losses at this point.
I had
But
them
did
at
you
like
have them
11-1. I can't
Did
believe.
you have them losing to Virginia?
No, I had them 10-2. I had them
No.
10-2.
Yeah, 10-2.
Yeah.
I had them losing to Pitt, Miami, and
Clemson.
Georgia Tech.
Clemson.
Wait,
Clemson.
how many They got 3 losses right now, don't they?
Yeah.
My Virginia Tech pick, I'm very proud of.
Mm.
5 and 6 at this point. That's where I had them.
All right, let's move on to the next game. We got the Apple Cup at 4:00 on Fox. Washington State at Washington. Number 4 Washington, not number 5. And they're currently a 16.5-point favorite. Again, I think Washington State is a lot better team than they're getting credit for based on the point spread. I think their quarterback is really good. I think they've had some tough losses here recently, and I think that's kind of hurt them. But I think they're still a pretty good football team, and I think they're going to show up for this game. This is a big game for them. And this is the last game before Washington makes the move over to the Big Ten. I think Washington State keeps it close. I think Washington still wins this game. But I think that State covers the spread here of 16.5. Too big of a number there. Same thing with the Oregon State game there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a rivalry game, and I feel like 16.5 just seems way too high of a spread. And especially like Washington in the last few weeks has not been putting away opponents. Like they'll play amazing in the first half. In the second half, like last week, they just went stagnant in the second half, but they still came away with the victory. So I just think this is going to be another one of those close games that Washington scrapes by and wins.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really have much to say here, but yeah, I think 16.5, that's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't think Washington State is that bad of a team. Not to be a 16.5-point favorite underdog. I think Washington can still win this game by 10, 13 points, but that's the most. I don't see them blowing them out. Not with their defense. Their defense is not that great.
I'd like to be right on this pick, and I'm picking Washington in the point spread. Just because I think if their defense is going to get right, they have to get right this game. Because if they want a shot in the playoffs, their defense needs to start stepping up now. Because if they don't, they're losing to Oregon next week. So
Yeah.
I'd like to pick Washington in this game, but I will not be surprised if Washington State does cover the spread.
Tanner.
Big Bess. Oh, he's got his Ohio State stuff on. Yes.
Oh,
No.
the suck guys.
Let's go. Big Buzz.
What team we talking about?
We talking about Washington and Washington State right now.
All right.
You got a pick for that game? Your last one.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't know if everybody win already.
Yeah, everybody's gone. Yeah.
I think Washington wins. I can see Washington State keeping it close. I mean, they're not a terrible football team. And Washington, I mean, if Michael Penix plays like he did, where he threw 3 interceptions that one game, it could be close. But I see Washington winning that game.
Yeah. All right. Next game is at 7:00. Number on ESPN. Number 5, Florida State, favored by 6.5 at Florida. Both the starting quarterbacks are out for this game. Graham Mertz, and Jordan Travis are both out. However, this game is in the swamp. I think Florida State. I mean, they're one of those teams. I feel like in the past they've kind of had a fluky game and lost one and dropped one that they shouldn't have. And with a completely new quarterback coming in, trying to figure out what he's good with, going into a very hostile environment, first real game starting, I think that Florida is going to get them. I think they're going to beat Florida State in this game. Obviously, I think Florida State has the better team overall, but I think there's just too much going on with Florida State right now. I don't know if their head's in the right place. And I think Florida gets them, especially because Florida will be bowl eligible at that point if they get the win. And Billy Napier really needs this win to keep his job.
I agree. I mean, like Florida State all season has had I think they've had 5 games. It feels like almost every game in the ACC they've been struggling. They've only won by 1 score. And now if your starting quarterback being out and you're starting a whole new quarterback and you're on the road in a night environment in a rivalry game, I just feel like he's just going to be rattled, honestly. I don't see Florida State coming out. And I just, like you said, they always drop one in the season. And I think this is the game they drop, is to the Gators.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the same thing. Florida State, after that LSU win, they just been kind of lagging along. I mean, they about dropped on a Boston College. They didn't look good against Pitt. They really did not look good for the majority of the game against who did they play last week?
They played Northern Alabama or something.
Yeah, I mean, I know they ended up blowing them out, but they were struggling there for a little bit. And with the way Jordan Travis got hurt, it wasn't just like a normal injury. I mean, it was a nasty injury, and that can really drop team around and stuff. I think Florida's not a terrible team. They're playing at home. They're playing number 5, Florida State. I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think they're gonna get them. I think this is where Florida drops home for the ACC championship.
I'm still sticking with the Seminoles. I'm not a huge fan of this Florida team, and I did see some of the backups play last week. He's not bad. I know it's against a really not good team, but I mean, I feel like that's a good way to start warming up is to get a nice warm up game against a slightly easier opponent, knowing that you're gonna have this harder game against Florida. I think it's still gonna be a close game, but I think Florida State's able to pull it out in about a 7 to 10 point game.
Yeah, I think Florida gets it done. I don't think Florida State's quarterback, the one they got better right now, I don't think he's gonna have good chemistry. Yeah, he looked decent against Northern Alabama, but Florida State on the defensive side, they struggled this whole year. I mean, start of that game when Jordan Travis went down, they were losing 14-0.
Yeah.
I mean, Florida State, they've struggled about every game they've played this year. Now, yes, they do. They pull away in the end of some of them, but a majority of them for that first, even 3 quarters, it's close. And then your truck. Shut the door, Tyler. Mr. Santa. Shut the door. Shut the door. My bad. No, I think Florida pulls this one away.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. And second to
Or
last.
Palmetto Bowl.
Yes, let's move
We have the
on.
Palmetto Bowl at 7:30 on SEC Network. They couldn't even get on ESPN.
The
We
battle,
don't need ESPN.
the battle of mid is what that's going to be.
I'll
No.
agree with you on that, but there's one team that's better than the mid. Yes, the stock has risen.
The
Oh Lord.
only thing about I'll go first, I reckon. I think it's going to be who has the better running back. I think Will Shipley and South Carolina's running back. I think they line up evenly, but I think the duo wise with the duos, South Carolina's not going to be able to match up with Moffa.
Phil Moffa.
They're not going to be able to. I guess you can say adjust from Shipley to Moffa as easily. Not going to happen.
I agree. I mean, I think it's really going to come down to the run game. I mean, that's all Clemson can really get on offense at this point is the run game.
I will say enough of Xavier Legette talk. I want to see Nate Wiggins lock him down.
Yes, Nate Wiggins.
Talk. I'm tired of hearing he's a top 5 wide receiver. He's
Hold
not.
on now.
He's the only one on his team. It's about like the.
Why?
Yes, sir. Nate Wiggins is ready. Their only weapon, their only receiver is about to get locked down by Nate Wiggins on Saturday night.
If he gets taken away, Clemson, I do think personally for me, they have. I did say front 7 at the beginning of this year, but I will say their defensive line is some of the best in the nation, especially interior against the run. And I think that's what's going to seal the deal.
Tanner has basically just taken all of my points that I was about to bring up on this podcast and just summed them up into one. I feel like I don't even have to speak anymore. I can just go off of emotions now. I think the Tigers finally get it done against South Carolina after 1 year of pain, man. 1 whole year of pain. I don't know how you Ohio State fans have done it for 2 years now. It sucks.
They cheated.
It sucks, but I think the Tigers are about to get it done in Columbia. K. Klubnik's going to turn it around. DJ was still not the problem, but that's a story for another day. But I think the Tigers win by 14.
I'm not saying Klubnik turns it around now. It's in Willie B. Anything can happen in Willie B at night, but I don't think that South Carolina defensive line, and plus they just had one of their starters go down in a linebacker position, one of their main starters go down. So I don't think they're going to be able to adjust for it.
I think at the end of the night, Shane Beamer might break another foot.
Now I do see game 31-10 or 31-17. I do see South Carolina punching in some points here. I don't see a complete blowout, but I do see it's going to be a close game, I think, till the middle of the third, and then it's just going to get ran away with.
Listen,
yes.
I can't stand Clemson, obviously, for past reasons. But I also I can't stand at the SEC in general. I don't like South Carolina. I think they're all this, and they literally have like 4 wins, and they're not that good, man. They're just not. They're gonna get torched on Saturday. I'm changing my pick here because I've thought about it thoroughly. I went back and looked through Clemson, Phil Moffa, Will Shipley. Those guys are gonna torch South Carolina. They might rush for 300 yards together. I mean, it's gonna be bad. South Carolina hasn't stopped anybody all year. And Clemson's defensive line is going to get after Spencer Rattler on Saturday, and their defense is going to lock them down. And I think it doesn't matter who you have at receiver. Spencer Rattler's not going to be able to get the ball out because he's going to be too pressured. I think South Carolina loses game by probably 10, and Clemson covers the spread.
It doesn't matter because Nate Wiggins is out there on the secondary anyways.
What I said is what I thought, but it still hurt me to say it.
All right,
I don't like either of these teams either, but I really don't like South Carolina right now.
The optimal solution was just the stadium just burns down with everyone in it.
Hold on.
I don't like the South Carolina.
Everyone in it.
But
you can't say that. You can't say that.
Burn down Willie B. I don't like neither one of these teams. I was amongst Clemson fans all week last week, and I think I was diseased. But I changed my pick. I cannot pick South Carolina to cover the spread. I just can't. I think this game it will probably follow the same script as what the North Carolina Clemson game did. I think Clemson can keep it close at first, and then Clemson's just going to run away with it. Because South Carolina's just bad. They're just bad. Nate Wiggins is going to absolutely terrorize their defense. It's going to absolutely terrorize South Carolina like he did North Carolina. I don't like Nate Wiggins. I don't like him at all, especially after last week.
What's the thing?
Wait, what year is he?
I think he's a junior now.
Yeah, he's a junior.
He's eligible for the draft.
He probably
He's
won't
good.
go.
He'll probably come back next year.
I hope.
But yeah, South Carolina's just not good, man. I think Clemson's got too many weapons. Anything can happen. And the last time Clemson went to Willie B, they shut him out. It was like 30-0.
It
Wasn't even
30 to
close.
nothing.
It was 30-0. So, yeah, it's a tough environment, but I think Clemson's just a better team.
Your receivers catch the ball this time. Y'all should be good.
We don't muff 2 punts.
Yeah.
Or from on the red zone.
Yeah.
that.
Will Shipley.
Or
It's
let
supposed-
all
Don't say that. Don't
Yes.
say that.
or let all
You know,
it's a one
Warren
hand.
Hampton did that
Yeah, he did it twice.
exactly. You know,
It
my
was
assessment for that
freaking
was pretty accurate last week.
We're not talking about this game. We're talking about this game. We're not talking about that game.
Leading into this game, one thing I forgot to mention last week was Nate Wiggins. He's gonna have another masterclass. South Carolina is still gonna. It's Clemson's offense and South Carolina's defense is going to make a world of difference. I think South Carolina on offense could keep up with Clemson, but Clemson's defense is that much better, and South Carolina's defense is atrocious.
That's why I say I think this game's just going to go just like the North Carolina game, just because it's the exact same thing. North Carolina's defense is garbage, and Clemson's defense is really good.
Yeah. No, South Carolina.
But South Carolina does not have the same like offensive firepower as North Carolina does. So I think that's why Clemson can start running away with it sooner.
Well, I would say they do because I mean, more so in the passing game than running game. Spencer Rattler has had some pretty good games this season when it comes to yardage.
We're talking
But
here.
I guess Big Vest left.
Oh, no, he's back.
He's
He's back now.
I don't know what happened.
My insides are boiling. There's a game that we're about to talk about.
Oh, I
and
know.
I'm getting up.
I know. No, but Spencer Rattler hasn't had horrible stats this year. He's had 3,000 passing yards.
Yeah.
He's put up good
He
numbers.
also doesn't have an offensive line to help protect him at all. I think that's what's going to kill him.
He doesn't have an offensive line, and his defense does not help him out whatsoever. And that's just going to make the big difference. Clemson's just gonna that games are won in the trenches, and Clemson is going to control the trenches next week.
Yeah.
Yes, cortisone. Let's go.
That's what I said. I think they match up evenly in the secondary, except for Nate Wiggins. But the front seven, I mean, it's a landslide. I mean, it doesn't match up good at all on both sides of the ball, neither way. I mean, that game's gonna be. I think Clemson rushes. I think it's gonna be like a Trey Sermon kind of game. Except for he's on y'all side. He's on y'all side.
All right, let's get to the game.
All right.
The game.
At 12 o'clock on Fox.
Yes.
Number 2, the
World
Ohio
famous
State
Ohio State.
Buckeyes.
Yes.
At number 3, that team up north. Currently a 3.5 point favorite, which I like. I'm a fan of, by the way, because I like being the underdog.
Ohio State plays better as the underdog.
Yep.
It's Michigan for the non-Ohio State fans that cannot say it right now, just in case.
Nah, we can't get application to
Just in case.
All right, hey,
The
y'all
cheaters.
two go
Cheaters,
last.
as better known as the Michigan Wolverines. There we go.
Y'all two go last. I'll start
right.
us off. All right. This game is in Ann Arbor. They have a 2-year winning streak against Ohio State. But their head coach is also gone. Right? I think this game could go either way. Because I think both got good defenses. Offenses is kind of questionable. I think Ohio State's offense is better than Michigan's. I think Kyle McCord is a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy by far. But there's one main factor that helped me choose this game. In the Martin household, I was taught to hate 4 teams: Duke, NC State,
Yes.
the New York Yankees. And with the help of Woody Martin, I was taught to hate the Michigan Wolverines.
Yes.
Give me the Buckeyes.
Yes.
Give me the Bucks. Michigan.
Oh,
my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
hey.
Look,
Yes.
there's, a
I
problem.
can.
Down with
There's
the
one
Michigan.
problem with that. Woody Martin's your family member, and you're saying the word. You can't say that word.
Oh, he's not an Ohio State fan though. That's
I'm
fine.
not a Ohio State fan. Look,
I'll take it.
look,
I'll take
Ohio
it.
State
Not
gets
the
it.
Buckeye helmet for that.
You held a Buckeye helmet up. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I think Ohio State's gonna get it done. I really do. I am not sold on Michigan at all. I just think Ohio State is just gonna want it more. I really do. I mean, with all the cheating stuff coming out, I'm not sold on Michigan whatsoever. Beginning of the season, they played absolutely no one. They were struggling. I just think Ohio State's a better team. I really do. I think all around, y'all got the way better team. You have a better defense. You got a better offense. Yeah, give me the Bucks.
Go.
Go
You want
ahead.
me to go next?
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead.
This is about to be one of the most painful things I think I have probably ever done in my life. I believe that Michigan's offense is not going to be able to do very much on Saturday. I believe that Ohio State's defense might just be the best in the nation right now. And I feel like I'm just like getting some disease saying that right now. And I'm just hating every moment of this. I believe that Ohio State is about to win by 2 touchdowns on Saturday. I don't think I'm about to see much from Michigan's offense at all. I think Michigan scores 10 points. I'm just being honest.
Yes.
I'm not
This
seeing
guy.
much from Michigan.
Yes.
So
Fight this guy.
I am picking the Ohio State Buckeyes to win on Saturday. I
Yeah.
think they win by 14.
Down with the cheaters. Yes.
I really
boy.
don't want to pick
I rub the tiger now.
that Thumbs of Columbus. I don't want to pick them. But if
Is Josh changing his pick? Is Josh gonna change his pick?
I'm
Is
really
he changing his pick?
I'm not making a pick yet. So, if Michigan is a one-sided offense. If they can't run the ball, there's nothing they can do. JJ McCarthy is not that great of a quarterback, and the Ohio State secondary is going to be able to lock down their receivers. So unless Blake Corum and whoever else they've got can start running, that offense isn't going to move. Now, I still think Kyle McCord is an overrated quarterback at the time. I think that could change, but right now I still think he's a little overrated.
You mean Honda McCord?
That's pretty accurate.
There's one name we've left out. Maserati Marv.
Greatest car.
Maserati
Yeah.
Marv.
And if the defense can show up, I mean, it's not a horrible defense, but they really need to keep Kyle McCord in check. I don't know about Michigan's offense. All right.
Go ahead and say it, man. Go ahead and say it.
I don't want to say it because I want to be different. I don't want us all to pick the Suckeyes.
Hold on. Wait, did he just?
Yes, I did. But I think I've got to go with those bums in Columbus. I just.
Oh boy.
Somebody screen record it.
He changed
I'm
his
taking
pick.
my pick.
Hail, the gang's all here. Let's go.
I don't see Michigan having an offense to get going. Like I said, if Michigan can't get the run game going, they will not move the ball. So
All right.
give me the Suckeyes.
Max, you got the floor.
You want me to go?
Yes,
All
I
right.
have a lot on this game.
First off, I think that, man, I have so many thoughts going through my head. First off, as a fan, like, and just an emotion side of things, like, Ohio State can't lose this game. Like, Ryan Day is going to be under fire. Like, there's so many things that could happen here. That they probably won't make the playoff if they lose this game. Like, there's so many things they've lost in the past 2 years, and you can't also lose them this year because you don't have anything to fall back on as a Buckeye as far as like the cheating stuff you could say for last year. This year you can't say that. Michigan doesn't have their head coach. Ohio State has to go in there and I think they're fired up. I think they're sick and tired of hearing, "Oh, Michigan against everybody. Michigan against the world." Dude, they cheated and they got caught, and now he's in trouble. That's the same way with any crime you do in life. You don't. Nobody supports the criminal. Like what? That's ridiculous. I think Ohio State's sick and tired of it. They've seen it for the past 2 years. They've also been cheated out of 2 wins possibly because of play calling being stolen.
2 Heismans.
And
I go that far.
I don't think. Here's the thing. Honestly, I don't want to say anything because this honestly could backfire so bad. But I don't think their players are that good. When you know what's coming, you're so much better. And here's the thing. They've gotten smashed every single year we've played them up until they started cheating. That's their last and final result. And now what happens when you don't cheat? They're about to get smoked this coming Saturday. And Ohio State's bringing the heat. It's going to get physical. It's going to get tough. And here's the thing. Even if they think they got – listen, J.J. McCarthy is not that good of a quarterback. That's why Kyle McCord got picked by Ryan Day over him in the same recruiting class. J.J. McCarthy is so overrated. They say, we didn't have to throw the football. You can't throw the football because he's not good. You saw what happened in the Maryland game. He can't throw. He can't even throw. He threw 3 picks against Bowling Green. Are you kidding me? And their schedule is absolutely horrific. Let me read off who they play this year. East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, Rutgers, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State. I'll give them that. They won Happy Valley convincingly by 9. I mean, not even really that convincingly, 9 points. And then they turn around and they almost lose to Maryland at Maryland.
Hey,
and Penn State is a team that can't win a big game, so that's not really.
No.
If Tua's brother played like he did against us, he would have won that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to me, a few things. Their defense isn't as good as everybody makes it out to be. They played absolutely no front seven that's worth a crap. Besides Penn State, I'll give them Penn State maybe. But even so, Ohio State's defensive front seven is 10 times better than that. They're not going to be able to run the football. They're going to be forced to throw the football. And this Ohio State defense is not one that's giving up explosive plays. And that's the reason they lost the game last year. Is really only explosive plays. They didn't give up that much on the ground as they did the year before they played them. And I don't think that's going to happen this year. The defense is too good. They're not going to allow that stuff. And I think J.J. McCarthy throws 2 picks in this game. I also think that Travion Henderson is going to run for 150 yards. And all right, let me go ahead and ask you guys a question. So you have one running back on one side of the ball who everybody's saying, this guy's amazing. He is the best running back in college football, this, that, and the other. And then you got another guy who's not really been talked about as much. People know he's good, but people don't really talk about as much. I'll give you 2 stats, and you tell me which guy you take. First guy, he's got 180 carries for 888 yards, and he's averaging 4.9 yards per carry.
How many touchdowns?
He's got 20, but the thing
how many touchdowns are over 10 yards? 2.
Okay, so I think we know who's who.
And then the next guy has 118 carries, 794 yards, 10 touchdowns, and average 6.7 yards per carry. Which guy are you taking?
How many receiving yards he got?
Let's see. Hold on, I can pull it up for you. It's not added all together. Oh wait. What was that?
I
think it said 210 receiving yards.
I was about to say we got ads now. We're making it big, boys.
Yes.
But anyways, all right. Just based on those 2 stats alone, who would you take as a running back?
I'll take the running back that has 6.7 yards per carry.
Okay.
More efficient. I think I already know who it is.
That guy is Travion Henderson, ladies and gentlemen. And I think America's about to meet him on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
You missed a good stat too. He's played in 4 less games.
Yeah, he's played in 4 less games too. So there's also that.
Wayne Foreman's not the best running back in the country. I can tell you that right now.
No, and I don't think he's that. I just don't think he's that good. I just think they run the ball a lot, so he's gonna have a lot of yards. I'm not saying he's bad, but I just don't think he's as good as everybody makes him out to be. Also, me and Tanner were talking about Travion Henderson got saved this past year. So I think that has changed a lot in his spiritual life, and he's gotten better as a player too. And I think that I just think, man, this team is fired up. If Kyle McCord just plays well, he doesn't have to play great. He can play well.
Just the game.
Exactly. The Ohio State's going to win. Nobody is covering Marvin Harrison Jr., Will Johnson. He can't cover him. Still, he ain't covering him. It don't matter. Marvin Harrison Jr. is scoring 2 touchdowns in this game and going over 120 yards receiving.
Wait, didn't he play last season
Who?
in this game? Marvin Harrison Jr. and
Yeah.
Yeah, and our defense also gave up in 5 plays 270 yards.
Yeah, he had
That'll do it.
He had 120 yards receiving last year and a touchdown.
Wow, he was getting bracketed too.
Well, that's gonna happen this game.
And
that's gonna happen every game. But guess what? Nobody can stop it yet.
And that was that's where I was. I'm gonna let Max finish, and I'll get to that in my point.
Well, no, that's just how it is. I mean, they try to do it with Penn State. Try to do it. Every team try to do it. Nobody's covering them. And the thing is, I don't care if they put 3 guys on them. You got to realize you got to cover Emeka Egbuka too. You got to cover Julian Fleming, and you got to cover Cade Stover, which nobody has seen to do yet. And I think Cade Stover is going to get the ball a lot this game.
There is not a linebacker athletic enough in college football to guard Travion Henderson in open space.
Yep.
I would venture to say there is one, but he's never going to play.
They're not going to play against each other.
They're not going to play against each other because he's at ODU.
What?
ODU.
What?
I thought we were going down a different route.
ODU has a hidden gem of a linebacker.
Oh,
What?
I'm not kidding.
I thought I knew exactly who you were talking about, and then you just threw me off there.
Nah, Henderson. Henderson at ODU. He's one of the leading tacklers in the nation. And he has been.
Doesn't mean he can cover him in space.
He's been that way for the past 2 seasons. He is one of the better defensive players. Watch that name.
No.
I'll watch him undrafted free agent.
No.
Yes.
He's someone who's going to be a steal in the draft.
All right, back to the.
I don't even know what I was listening to right now.
He lost me when he said ODU. I thought I was going to hear like LSU or Bama or something. This man said ODU, and I just completely mind blanked. So what's your score prediction, Max?
27-17. I don't think there's no way in my mind that they score above 20 points. I think this defense is too good.
That's a realistic score.
I'm gonna start mine out with our fellow podcast maker couldn't make it. And he gave me a score prediction. He told me to let y'all boys know. Landon Jordan, the Georgia Bulldog fan, told me Ohio State wins 42-6.
No.
He told me his own words. Ohio State exposes the piss poor Michigan defense. But the way I see this game going, so as we know, both left tackles for Michigan, their starters were horrendous at left tackle. Now that they're hurt, their backups are even worse. I mean, they're still a D1 athlete, but you let Maryland's in rusher get around. What do you think JT Tuimoloau is going to do? And he shows up in every big game. I think this defense for Ohio State this year, you got to think they haven't given up. They're the only team in college football to not give up over 17 points. They haven't given up. They're only letting up 4 yards per play. And I think this defense this year, I think it was built bend, don't break, but I do think this defense is just I think they're taught to stop the run. Because if you watch the ends, every play they're pinching down. The tackles are pinching down. Everyone's pinching down. And this year, what was going to solidify this game, you have 2 safeties on Ohio State. Sonny Styles, who's one of the most versatile players, and I think he would be one of the best safeties ever played a sport. And you have Josh Proctor. Neither one scared to come downhill. They're built to play safety, and I think they're really going to stop this game. But that Michigan offense, you got to think, J.J. McCarthy has a bummed ankle right now, a bummed throwing shoulder. The only player on defense they got that surprised me any this year is Kenneth Grant. And he ain't really he don't have no skill set. He's just 6'7", 380. And I think this game fully relies on Connor Heisman. And I think he'll hold his own ground. But I don't think this Michigan defense, I mean, you could bracket Marv all you want, put 2 guys on him, but then you have to account for his Mika Ibuka. And if you're counting him on a crosser and you go with the crosser, Cade Stover's open down the middle. Then you got to watch Travion Henderson out the back. Then you got to watch the true freshman, Cardinal Tate. But this game, I think I see Marv going. I think he solidifies his Heisman in this. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to win the Heisman off of this game because Jaden Daniels putting up insane stats, and it's more of a stat thing for some reason. But I think Travion Henderson and Marvin Harrison made their legacy at this game. I don't think Blake Corum's that good. Ever since his knee injury, he can't make the cuts he makes or nothing. He's just a downhill runner. Jack Sawyer is one of the best defensive ends against the run this year. He's one of the highest graded defensive ends against the run. Our linebackers, I think Cody Simon or still Chambers, whichever one's in there.
Eichenberg's playing this game too. He's back.
You got to deal with Tyleek Williams.
Michael Hall.
You got to deal with Tyleek Williams, who's already having a better season than supposedly Jordan Davis, who was one of the best Georgia defensive tackles. This guy's having lights out. He's having a light out year. I just don't. I mean, they could run that 7-man lineman front, and they're not going to be able to pass the ball. Because Roman Wilson, he's day to day. He's probably out because he got knocked out in the last game. They're going to line up 7 linemen, and it's going to be a fast game because they're going to run the ball constantly. We're just going to keep shutting it down. But I don't think I see this game. I see us. I mean, I don't see them getting nowhere near 20 points. They might. I'll say nowhere near, but I mean, I don't think they get to 20. I see them scoring anywhere from 10 to 17. I just don't think their offense is built. They're one of the most overrated teams in college football, have always been one of the most overrated teams in college football. There's not a single, they could say Will Johnson's going to lock down Marvin Harrison. They said the same thing last year, and he put over 100 on his head with a bummed ankle. I just think if Kyle McCord manages this game like he's been doing, and if he plays like he's been doing here recently, and Travion's fully healthy, I mean, this is the healthiest we got Michael Hall back this game. He's going to cause a fight up front. Because that Michigan offensive line, their tackles are terrible. It's horrendous. And they don't run between the tackles. They run outside the tackles. But I will say, I think this game, if I had to do a score prediction, I see us scoring 38-42. I see them scoring 14. I just think Travion, I think Travion, I think the first 2 series he hits a home run shot. I think he does.
I can see that.
Because with the linebacker situation at Michigan, their best linebacker's out. If he does play, he's injured.
Henderson needs to do a little dunk like J.K. Dobbins did in 2019.
I cannot wait for a touchdown or an interception, and I see the old binocular and writing down the notes. I cannot wait to see that celebration. But I think we score over 30. I see McCord throwing for near 300, but I do see Travion Henderson. I also see him rushing for he's going to have 200 all-purpose yards. And I think if they bracket Marv, it's going to be a lot of crossing routes. And the one thing, our bread and butter this year has been Cade Stover and Marv on the crossing route, and Cade Stover picking the linebacker and Marvin just outrunning everybody.
Yep.
But our defense, I do think we have the best defense in the nation. I truthfully do. I mean, the defense is bend, don't break. Haven't given up a chunk yard over 40 yards yet. And I just think, they could try that 7-man line up front. Their tight ends. We have Sony Styles. He's going to cover every tight end in the nation. And I just think our defense, they tackle this year. They don't just they tackle. So I see Michigan, they might have a little garbage time touchdown like Penn State did late in the game. But like the Bulldogs said, I see it 42-6. 42-6 or 42-10. I don't think that Michigan defense, Because after watching the Maryland game, what Maryland's receivers were doing, I can't. And we have a more Kyle McCord is not the best we've seen at Ohio State, but he can make the deep passes. I just think, I see 2 or 3 touchdowns over 50 yards in the air. I just think, I can see Cade Stover having a big game. I can see, I hate to say it, I can see Julian Fleming having a big game. I don't know. This game is, after this year, the cheaters up north fall apart. Harbaugh doesn't have a job. Wins are vacated. Reduced scholarships. Postseason ban. We tear down the banner.
Yes.
It's all going down. In Ann Arbor, we're going to make everyone cry.
All right. Well, I think that was pretty good analysis on that one. Let's move on to top fours. I guess I'll go first. No, I guess one thing changed for me. I think Georgia deserves to be 1. They played well, and they're destroying their opponents. That's going to change after next week, obviously, because of this game that's happening Saturday. Number 2, Ohio State. Obviously, same thing. I believe they deserve to stay there. And then that team up north, I got them at 3, and then I got Washington at 4.
I pretty much had the same top 4, except the only thing I'm still is the number 4 spot. I can't decide if I want to put Washington there, and I really want to put Oregon at the 4 spot, if I'm being honest. I think after next weekend, I think Oregon's going to be in that spot. The only reason I have Washington at 4 right now is because they just beat Oregon State this week.
Mine is interchangeable 1 and 2. Go Ohio or Georgia. The only reason Georgia's going to have the edge on a lot of accounts is because it's the SEC bias and they're returning national championships. That's how it works. But number 3, I'm going Washington, and 4, I'd say Bama. Bama is looking good. Now, I'm not going off resume or nothing. I'm not going off who they beat, who they lost to, because if you technically do it, then Texas should be ahead of them. I'm going off how the team's playing right now. Bama is a top 5 team in the country the way they're playing football. And you can't take it away. I know they have a loss, but if you watch that team play, I do think they take down Georgia.
Yeah.
My top 4 did not change at all from last week. There's really nothing to change. Only thing I will know, my number 13 won't be there after this week.
Yes. Hold it
on. But everything's still the same. I'm like Dean. I want to put Oregon at 4, but I can't because Washington did beat them. But I think Oregon is the better team. But yeah, mine's the same.
Yeah, I pretty much have the same as pretty much all y'all. Georgia at number 1. Can't deny what they're doing. Got the bums of Columbus at number 2, which after this week, and I've got Michigan at 3. After this week, one of these teams has got to change. So I doubt Ohio State will move, but fingers crossed.
So you think if Ohio State wins, you don't think they're moving up?
I think they could.
There's no way they don't. They value resume. They just played a playoff game and won.
They'll pretty much be they'll probably jump to 1 unless Georgia.
Probably.
They will jump.
They will.
It's a third team.
It's unequivocal.
It's a top 4 team.
There is no
if they beat a top 4 team.
Not jump to 1.
Even if, and I know it ain't gonna happen, but say wild scenario, Ohio State lost this game. On multiple people who does this and get paid millions to talk about this said that Ohio State would still get in over 4 of those teams in the top 10.
I think the only reason why you can't is because they have a loss. But I think if Florida State doesn't look good in either of their games, absolutely, Ohio State will go in over Florida State, especially with the fact that Florida State does not have their starting quarterback. At number 4, I've got Washington, only solely on the fact that Jordan Travis is now out.
Nah, I'd have to put Washington over Florida State either way.
they're both playing close games. They're both playing very similar. Washington still has their starting quarterback. That's the only reason why I can put them on top.
I think Washington would beat Florida State even with Jordan Travis.
Yeah,
agree.
I think so too.
The thing
I
that
think
Washington has a
overall.
better resume too.
the thing that would hold Florida State
A
back,
lot better.
their defense is horrendous. Their defense sucks.
Washington's also playing better teams in the Pac-12 than what Florida State's playing in the ACC.
Oregon State's not a. I think doesn't Oregon State play Oregon this week?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Friday.
That the first game y'all talked about?
Yep.
Yes.
I missed that one.
Yep.
I think I could see Oregon State winning this game just because Oregon's run defense is not there, and Ollie Gordon to me is a top 3 back in the nation, and I can see that happening.
They got it done last year.
Yeah.
Yep, they
Yep.
did.
It could happen again.
And they have a more competent QB there now.
Yep.
DJ.
DJ.
Well, all right. I want to hear what y'all think about this scenario. Let's say Florida State wins out. Let's say Ohio State wins out. Let's say Washington loses to Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. And let's say Oregon has one loss as a Pac-12 championship winner. And Texas wins out, Alabama wins out. Who's getting in?
Oh boy.
I think if that's the scenario, I think you have, I guess Ohio State would be the 1 seed if I'm thinking of this right.
Yes.
You'd have Ohio State in. You would have Oregon in because they'd be the Pac-12 champions. I think they would definitely be in even with one loss. I think Alabama would also make it. Just
You think they make
beat
it over?
Georgia.
But is Texas
If
getting in?
Well, that's the question. Is Texas why would Texas not be able to get in? That's 4 teams.
Okay,
No,
You could have Bama
no.
and
I said-
Texas in.
Yeah, but what about Florida State? What if they go undefeated?
Well, if they're quarterback, I still don't think Florida State should get in. Like even if they are undefeated, you got
I
to
don't
take
think
into
Florida State's
account.
gonna get in.
You should have to take into
Even if
account
they're
their
undefeated?
starting quarterback.
Hey,
It depends on what their wins look like.
Problem
If
with
there's
the problem
I don't agree with that.
the problem with that is, as much as everybody knows you shouldn't put a team in with a backup quarterback even if they're undefeated, the committee's not going to do that. If they win out, they're in. Their ticket's in.
Because they did
Yeah.
that with Ohio State.
That's what they're going to do.
Wasn't Ohio State down to like the 3rd string?
Yeah, Cardell Jones, 3rd
Yeah.
string.
Cardell Jones,
We
yeah.
won
That's
it.
champion, baby.
Now that team, I think that team was built a lot different than this Florida State team is. But
This
Yes.
team had a defense, and we had Zeke running the ball.
yeah,
I just don't see how you could put in a team. I mean, they should take that into account. I know they're probably not going to take that into account, but even undefeated, I just don't know.
I think as a
It's gonna
TV
be-
product, I would say no. But
All right.
as it being fair, I mean, you didn't lose a game. You did nothing wrong to not get in. You won
true.
your conference championship. That means you're discrediting being undefeated, and you're also discrediting a conference championship, regardless of the quarterback situation. I don't care what happens. I don't care if he craps down his leg when he gets out there and take the first snap and they win the game. I don't care what happens. If they are 15-0, that means they'll have beaten Louisville, they've beaten LSU. They're 15-0 and they win the ACC. I think they should get in. I don't think there's a question about it.
You said Ohio
Ohio
State wins the big, right?
Yeah, Ohio State,
The way-
Oregon, Texas, Florida State, and Alabama are your conference
The
champions.
way this would go, and I hate to say it would go Ohio State and Florida State. There's a 1, 2, 3 would be Texas based off resume, and 4 would be Oregon because they're not going to put Bama in over Texas because of the head-to-head battle.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly how it should be. I mean, you lost in Tuscaloosa.
That's just not how it. As now, say if it's like I don't know. 'Cause I saw another one where they said if Ohio State lost to Michigan, then yeah, I mean it would be Michigan 1, Florida State 2. But if you went back on looking at the resume aspect, like they would for Texas and all of them, Ohio State would still get in there based off resume.
All right. Let's throw one more.
They do is they freeze resume. They don't say, "Oh, you beat the 24th ranked Notre Dame now. No, you beat the number 6th ranked Notre Dame when you beat Notre Dame.
All right, let's throw one more in there. Say Michigan beats Ohio State.
Okay.
What happens if you have a one-loss Louisville team beat Florida State, and you say you've got
resume?
Okay, but say you've got a few more losses in there. Say you've got.
What Max just said is everybody's a one-loss team. You're just saying Florida State and Ohio State lost instead of went out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what it would be Michigan would be first because they're the only undefeated team. And then you would put Ohio State behind them because they have the best resume out of every other team. And then I hate it. Georgia would probably get in. And then you would have to put Texas in. That would be your 4 teams.
Okay, but then if that's the case,
what about the Pac-12 champion?
Yeah.
Well, instead of Texas, you'd probably have to put which one? Oregon? Did you say Oregon?
Well, I don't think Alabama. Georgia can't get in that scenario.
No.
And neither can Bama. Bama can't get in that scenario.
Instead of Georgia, it would go Michigan, Ohio State, and then probably Oregon, Texas is what it would go.
And then
this is the year we need the expanded playoff this year.
I think we just need to wait and see what happens in championship weekend.
Yeah.
I very well do see Oregon losing this week. I can see that happen.
It could happen.
Because Oregon State doesn't have because Oregon's all pass. They do got a good running back, but they pass more than they run. And Oregon State's DB secondary is not that bad of a team.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for those scenarios to be talked about because more than likely it's not going to happen.
I don't know. You've got a lot of Pac-12 cannibalism that can go on this week. You could easily have a 1-2 loss Pac-12 champion.
Well, I mean, in the Pac-12, yeah, but whenever you're saying like out of this game and the Georgia game, I highly doubt seeing Ohio State and Georgia both losing that game. I can see one dropping one of them, but I couldn't see both of those. The way both teams are playing is near impossible for both those teams to lose. That's just, I mean, it's a hard scenario, but your undefeated team is going to get in, and then your head-to-head win team is going to get in. Your best resume team is going to get in, and they're going to go back to who has the best semi-resume and the best head-to-head win for the 4. That's the way they're going to do it. I mean, that's the sad part about it, but that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah. And I think...
go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like this is the one year, like, you could actually very much see a 2-loss team get in.
Nah, I can't see it.
No, because if you have a lot of things go on this weekend, you could easily have a 2-loss team sneak in.
Who would be your 2-loss teams, though?
That's a greght question, but I mean, you still have Texas who has 1 loss. They still got to play Oklahoma. You could easily have. You wouldn't have a 1-loss team, a 2-loss team from the SEC, but I feel like if you have if Florida State collapses, you could have a 2-loss Florida State team.
What if Alabama somehow loses to Auburn, goes to the SEC championship, and wins?
Well, see, like
exactly.
Dude, there could be so much chaos, man. We just gotta wait and see.
There's so many scenarios that can play out.
There's still 2 more weeks to be played.
Yeah, I'm ready to come back and talk about this next week after this week has happened.
And dance. That's what it comes down to.
I know one thing. We gotta win this game this weekend.
I don't care if we win by 0.25 points. That was possible. As long as we win, if we lose one more time to these, I can't say this word. I'm not going to say this word on if we lose to these guys, I'm not talking to nobody.
They'll win by 1 point. They'll win by a 1-point safety.
1 point safety. Yeah, I mean,
they'll get the 1 point safety to win the game.
Look, something special is happening in Ohio this year. Okay, the Bobcats are good. The Cleveland Browns are on the come up.
Stop talking about that.
And Ohio State is winning the national championship. Mark my words.
There was no reason to bring up the Browns. None.
No, that was unnecessary.
We don't need to talk about them.
Unnecessary. This is college football only.
We're talking about.
We don't want to talk about the NFL anymore. No,
Hey,
the NFL
Ohio
season
is
is
on the
over.
rise.
Hey, hold on.
Actually,
Except
I
for
just
the
want
Bengals.
Hold on.
They're
I
up
can-
Matt Canada's gone.
thank you.
Sucks.
Thank you to the Browns for opening the eyes of Mike Tomlin and allowing him to
All right, we're
fire
going,
Canada.
Oh, you're a Steelers
going
fan?
off the deep end.
Wait, we're done. We're done talking about that. But the one thing I will say, if you look at the reason I do think, because I don't know who, I keep seeing all these Michigan accounts posting beat Ohio. You don't play the Bobcats. I'm sorry. You play Ohio State.
Yep.
I like this Ohio against the world.
The shirts say Ohio State against the world. But it is Ohio against the world. We are America's team.
No,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
Them cheaters up north is not American. Dave Portnoy, I hope you see this podcast. You were stupid.
Yeah, if Dave Portnoy listens to this podcast, that'll be hilarious.
Who is the
Go at the Barstool.
who's the fat guy that works at Barstool that's a Buckeyes fan?
Oh my gosh, what's his name?
Oh
I
yeah.
just saw him the other day. I know who you're talking about.
His name Dave? Nah, his name ain't David.
Mm-mm.
It's something with B. Well, whatever his name. I hope
It's
you're watching.
Pat. It's Pat, I think.
Yeah, I hope you're watching this.
I
The
think that's his
Buckeyes
name.
win the national championship this year. It's happening.
All right. Oh, that's not him. Let's see. He's probably on here. Dang, all it is pizza reviews, free Harbaugh, pizza reviews.
America's team.
Horrible.
All right, well, that's gonna do it. Here from us. There could be an array of emotions on the next podcast here. So,
I'm confident, man.
yeah.
No emotion but happiness for me.
For our sake, I hope everybody's team wins this weekend here. That way we can just all be
Yes.
happy. I'd be fine with that.
And
So,
the Dukes.
I hope the Hokies lose.
Hey, I went 0-5 this weekend in football and fantasy. I need
wait,
some-
hold on a minute, Josh.
Hey,
Are you going to be watching that game at all?
which game?
Virginia Tech.
No, because I'm in a house divided right now.
You're
I'm,
fan.
no,
No.
I
Nah.
need
Nah.
bragging rights because I'm in the house in a house with a JMU alum. I need bragging
No.
rights.
No.
Josh,
he's
Josh,
not a
I don't want to
Virginia
hear
Tech
about
fan.
going 0-5 in football last week. My favorite quarterback tore a ligament in his wrist and ended the season last week. I don't want to hear about your stupid 0-5. My season ended last week. I don't want to hear it.
Or cares more about Coastal than Virginia
Hey.
Tech.
Hey,
That's
That's wild.
ridiculous, bro.
y'all
That
can
is
talk about
wild.
that, but me and Max, both of our teams have championship level defenses this year, and our offenses aren't the best.
Yeah.
More for the Browns. More for the Browns. Their offense just sucks.
You're a
but
Browns fan too.
Yeah, we beat
Who
y'all.
hurt you? Who hurt you as a kid?
I grew up watching Josh Cribbs. All right,
Okay, that explains a lot. That you would be hurt by that.
that's just what I grew up watching, man.
All right, well, that's going to do it from the Extra Point Pod. We'll see you in the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya. Let's see.